Biden's new Disinformation Governance Board is already expanding its scope. Well, this is something that big government always does when they create a new entity. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon where I can talk about things I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my merch store where I have Let's Go Brandon t-shirts, I Will Not Comply t-shirts. Check those stuff out. There's also a link to my mental health coaching and consultation page where if you're suffering from any type of mental health issues and you're looking for some help, I could teach you coping skills. I could teach you how to manage those issues. All right, let's talk about this news. Old Joe Biden's ominous Disinformation Governance Board has just been announced, and I did a whole video on that, call it the Ministry of Truth, and it's already expanding the scope of its responsibilities. Of course, that's what government agencies do. They're always looking to justify and increase their budgets, and so they're always looking for new things to involve themselves in. But in this case, the expansion makes the agency in question even more dangerous to the American people than it was already. When Politico revealed the existence of the board in an offhanded statement buried 60 paragraphs down in Wednesday's Politico playbook, it said that the Department of Homeland Security was, quote, standing up a new disinformation governance board to coordinate countering misinformation related to Homeland Security, focused specifically on irregular migration and Russia. So that was the statement. DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, however, went farther than that almost immediately, saying on Thursday, quote, "We have just established a mis and disinformation governance board in the Department of Homeland Security to more effectively combat this threat, not only to election security, but to our homeland security." So just then he added that to that. And when Jen Psaki defended Biden's new Ministry of Truth on Thursday, she went further still, quote, we know there has been a range of disinformation out there about a range of topics. I mean, including, COVID, for example, and always election and eligibility. I'm sorry, and also elections and eligibility, she said. Wasaki announcing more responsibilities for the Disinformation Governance Board beyond what Politico had reported and what Mayorkas had said. It was hard to tell, as she sounded as if she was simply pointing out some of the areas in which supposed disinformation had circulated. However, she is the press secretary. What she says is generally the official line of the Biden administration. If she didn't mean to say that the Disinformation Governance Board will be clamping down on what Biden's handlers claim is disinformation about COVID and eligibility, we already know from Mayorkas that the board will be working against election disinformation. She will have to make an additional clarifying statement. Whether or not she does that, it is also true that that when Fox's Jackie Henrich asked for more details about what exactly the Disinformation Governance Board will be doing, Psaki professed not to have much information. Quote, "I really haven't dug into this exactly. I mean, we of course support this effort, but let me see if I can get more specific." She always say that. Yes, of course, Psaki supports the flagrantly unconstitutional effort to police Americans say and think. I mean, she even professed to be surprised that anyone would oppose the sinister new initiative. Quote, "It sounds like the objective of the board is to prevent disinformation and misinformation from traveling around the country in a range of communities. I'm not sure who opposes that effort." Well, let's start with everyone who realized that yesterday's disinformation, Trump didn't collude with Russia. Hunter Biden's laptop contains evidence of influence peddling with Joe Biden's involvement, is today's breaking news. Then there are those who deeply concerned that the government will crack down on dissenting opinions under the guise of fighting disinformation. In short, anyone who understands the vital importance of the freedom of speech will oppose the very existence of the Disinformation Governance Board and be even more alarmed by the fact that it started out on Wednesday focusing on alleged disinformation concerning illegal migration in Russia, and by the very next day had already apparently expanded its purview to include COVID as well as election and eligibility. Some of the critics of the new board are speaking out. Senator Josh Howley, he tweeted, quote, rather than police our border, Homeland Security has decided to make policing American speech its top priority. They're creating the Disinformation Board. No, really. And take a look at the views of the leftist radical running it. Howley then included screenshots of tweets from the new Disinformation Governance Board top dog Jena Jankowicz, in which she referred to America's systematic racism, criticized, oh, the irony it burns, Trump for, quote, authoritarianism, and warned against free speech absolutionists that one was just from, and that one was just from last Monday. And PJ Media's Rick Moran detailed Thursday that Jankowicz is an experienced disinformation peddler herself, which only makes her appointment even more of a concern. It's clear that Biden's handlers aren't trying to maintain even a semblance of even-handedness here. I don't think he did that during his whole presidency so far. When they say disinformation, they mean conservative opinions and criticism of the left. There's plenty more of that criticism in areas other than those Alejandro Mayorkas and Jen Psaki have already enumerated as the responsibilities of the Disinformation Government Board. So watch for his mission to expand even more and more. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out themarkrepublics.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.